Hi Scorpio, welcome to your April 2019 Lenormand reading. I'm Jade with Yes, Yes, Yes. Welcome back to the channel. And for those of you who are new, welcome. Let me explain what's going on. We're going to use the Gilded Reverie Lenormand deck. I'm going to lay out all 36 cards in what's called the Grand Tableau reading. I've pre-shuffled the cards. And as I do this, we're going to look at your the general, of course, because it's difficult to read for individuals. But we're going to look at the general for your health, your wealth, your job, and love life. Okay, so let's see. Where does this all begin for Scorpio in April 2019? And I'm doing these readings a little differently than I had been, just because I want them to be clear and because it is so easy to go into depth with these. And this is still, it's like one of the best readings that I give, but reading for general is always tricky for all of us. And then also, coming up with the titling is also tricky. So I want this to just be as clear as possible and to help everyone find some type of clarity and peace, because that's why we come to these readings, right? We always want to get some clarity on a situation, find some peace in what's going on. So that's what I just want to help. All right. So, and let me just say, while I'm laying these all out, making sure that they're level. I want to thank you all for your likes and your shares and your subscribes, all of the comments that you're leaving me, all that feedback. I appreciate so much. I'm really enjoying this journey with you, and I hope that you are getting as much out of these readings as I am receiving your feedback and working with you individually as well. So if you're reaching out for readings, thanks for working with me. That has been so much fun as well. Deep work. There's lots of deep work going on. Scorpio, this is no new news to you. You are totally fine with going deep, and I love and appreciate you for that reason. Okay, so what I need to do is to just quickly check and see if any of the cards are in their houses. So just give me a moment. Gosh, it just ends up so crooked. I don't understand. Okay, give me a moment. Okay, so nothing's in its own house, totally fine. I just like to check because that's another flavor. All right, woo. You are my last of the Lenormands this month, and I am really excited about this one. So let's start with what's going on. I've got both your masculine and feminine right here. What that means is that you're in alignment. I like that so much. You have probably been doing a lot of hard work. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you've kind of gone under, and you've been doing a lot of work for yourself in the last few months, since I would say since your birthday time. So it might have been challenging. It probably felt isolated, like maybe you had to pull yourself away from everyone else to really get down to the depths of what's been going on for you emotionally and why we haven't been able to get things going. So I feel like even though you felt initially like it was a good choice to go down, it actually got you to more of an isolated place than you might have realized. It might have been a slower and more challenging journey. It brought along some choices for you to decide if you were going to be social, okay, or if you were going to continue to go down and just repeat this cycle. And I feel like it's okay. Those moments come up where you decide, okay, am I going to put the depth down for a while and just go and enjoy life, okay? And I think that Scorpio, it's really healthy for you to do that, especially because the tendency is to keep going down the rabbit hole and really trying to dig in and unpack what's going on. It's perfectly okay to lighten the load and lighten up. That might have been even something I encouraged you to do last month. And I do this because I'm a Scorpio rising. I have to do the same thing, where I need to lighten my load. All right, now, I'm feeling like right now we're just in a little bit of a harsh place, probably because of this journey being a little bit more challenging than expected, okay? And this journey is it's based on love. It's based on confusion about love. It's based on the changes and maybe a love relationship ending in the past, maybe with somebody who was more independent, maybe somebody who didn't want to commit. So it's, caused you to go kind of down into the depths of you. And right now you're in this place of harshness, non-feeling, not really responsive. This could be all sex and no heart. Do you see what I'm saying? Like there's no emotional connection. You're in the A-type personality where you're just making sure that you yourself are taken care of. You're taking care of you. Totally fine to do so. It's just important for us to know that that's what's going on. Okay. So whatever this love situation is that might have even left you to a place where you had to figure out why this love didn't work out, why love doesn't work out in general, whatever that is, you're now to a place where you're thinking, I don't think I'm ready to trust love yet, okay? I'm gonna go at love in a different way. And it's okay, it's actually gonna get you to a healthier place. I will just say this honestly, if you decide to have a lot of like one-night stands, it's not going to work out. That's going to bring you to a place of actually detriment. So, that's not serving your highest good. It's going to work against your health. It's going to work against your ability to heal. What will work towards your healing is if you see yourself in a higher, if you see yourself for all that you have to offer. If you're removing yourself emotionally, okay? And this is just that, it's just that energy, it can pass too, right? This is not like forever and ever, and it doesn't mean that, love is not coming. It just means that you're still healing, and that's why the heart is back here, because you're still reflecting upon it. And it's down and underneath in their subconscious, so this is deep stuff you've been unpacking. But the point is the higher self, right, Scorpio? Your higher self and your healing and that sensuality, that nature that is so ingrained in you, you're going to be able to achieve that when you see and live with your own personal energy, your divine right, your destiny, okay? And your destiny is really in this power position of being able to pull yourself outside of this whole situation. Okay, I know that it looks like Scorpio got screwed. It looks like that somebody really did a number on your heart, which is hard for a Scorpio to deal with, because you might have actually for once put let your guard down, thinking this was the one, there was some type of, commitment we had made. It seemed to be destined. It seemed that, everything was in alignment, and then it ended all of a sudden. And you put you let your guard down, so you got burned. And that hurts, because Scorpios don't like to get burned. Scorpios are really good about, keeping track of what's going on. But what I'm saying here is that this whole situation has caused you to get to a place where you might need to build yourself back up and get back to that place where you can trust yourself. Because it was never about you losing power, never about you not being able to take care of yourself. It was just a bad deal. It was that, all this whole situation, this love, this connection that you had, it was, with somebody who was independent. There was a commitment. It felt very aligned. It was successful. There was, it felt intuitively connected. It was balanced between masculine. Everything was there. It's a great line right here, right? But something just, ended it. And that's not an awful thing. And it doesn't mean that this person won't come back and make it right. That's, it's really not even about that. This whole thing happened, this whole alignment where you felt like, this is totally it. This is finally it. I deserve this. I can relax. And then everything stops, right? It's that feeling is what you're entitled to. Not what happens outside of that. It's that feeling of being in alignment, that everything works out. That's your destiny. Knowing that that's where your power is when you operate in that place. Nothing should normally affect you. It's just that there was a little bit of, there was somebody else involved. That, that feeling of alignment is something that you can have all on your own. Woof, that was a long, I went off quite a bit there. I love you, Scorpio. I love you because you are me and me are you, okay? So that was a bigger line. I actually went bigger for you than any of the other signs because it was quite evident. Let's talk about your health. Let's move away from that. The only thing I want to say is that if you do go in the having multiple one-night stands, just know that, just be careful, just be safe about it. That's what I mean, okay? All right, now let's talk about your health. There's something underlying that is, that may come up at the end of the month, and it's just going to be a question. So maybe it is something that's challenging your health routine, something that is challenging, this could be like an allergy, like a change in the weather, because we are on shoulder season. There's something that's just, causes a little bit of a change here. And I'm actually feeling like it might be reproductive health. So if it's time for that checkup, it might be time for that checkup. And if it's not time for that checkup, this, and that's going to be another warning, is that if you have a lot of those one-night stands, do make sure that you're careful, because there's some connection to health and your sexuality here. So, just be aware. Just be aware. And then again, some of these things will resonate, some of these things won't. If you just got checked out and this is not your life, then that's not your life. So just leave it, all right? What else can I say? If you are in current relationship, because I did go on and on about a relationship ending. If you are in current relationship, this is something that's coming up for you. There is the abundance of and this actually could mean if you're trying to get pregnant, there might be something that's stopping that. So you might need to take a closer look at that, because, we're talking about health and we're talking about longevity and sensuality, sexuality here. So the abundance of your sexual health, there's a challenge in there. So if you are trying to get pregnant, you might need to go to the doctor, if it's not taking, just go to the doctor and and see if there's any tests that you can do, just to see if you are in alignment. This is, again, something to just consider, not necessarily saying anything is going on, just something to look at. That's what I see these cards as. Okay, let's talk about money, which is also right here. So your money, you might be feeling stable, and what I will say is that if you have made, if you're wondering if there's some issue with your money, if there is some contingency plan that is dependent upon someone else, you might need to check that other person, because there is somebody else who's involved in your money. It might even be that your financial advisor. It may not be the right person to work with. You might have to make a different choice in that relationship. They may be a little bit of a brute, or somebody who bullies you into making financial choices, and that maybe it's just that their choices might be fine, but the type of person they are is not someone you want to work with anymore. So keep that in mind as well. But for the most part, your finances are looking pretty stable, which is nice. It does look like you have looked at things. Maybe you have an IRA or some type of organized portfolio. So it looks like you have definitely looked above and beyond just, and making smart choices, which is great. And then ultimately, just be aware, this energy right here, the snaky snake right here on the end, is the one that is just causing a little bit of problem, because this is where we need to keep our focus. We need to look at that. Let me see. That's the heart. That's the heart house. So we need to have courage to look at this, whatever this is. Okay, and if it's you know, what is it that our money is tied to? What is our health tied to? What is our relationship tied to? We really have to take courage and look at what's going on underneath the surface of those things. So that's what that house is kind of advising us to do. All right. So keep that in mind as well. So for your work, this is one of the work cards, which is the bear. And then the other work card is the fox, which is over here. So you might have had a recent, like you might have signed a contract if you work for yourself, or if you are, you know, yeah, if you work for yourself or alone in the company, you're not really, you know, working on a team. You might have had a recent contract or something, some type of negotiation that you have worked, you know, that you've said yes to. Blech, that's what I'm trying to say. There was a change. So you said yes, or you might have just said yes, and now their change is coming. And that change is actually going to bring more choice, okay? It might have ended. The contract that you might be under right now might be ending, and now you have a choice to do something else. It might be in with that same person, or you know, that same company that you made the contract with. It might be with someone else or in a totally different line, okay? But I'm seeing that there's a contract that has ended if you're working for yourself. And it ended because, and it might be that you're in you know, you're a contractor, you're doing some kind of work with a home, but it's ended because it's just been time. It's time that it had ended, and it's okay, because you have more choices coming up in the future. Now, if you work for someone or in a corporation, what I'm seeing is actually there's quite a bit of financial stability with that, okay? So we talked about your finances in general are pretty stable. So something drew you to working for corporate, or working for this larger company, or working for a college. It's a larger organization, okay? You are underneath someone, so there is someone who is your boss. This might be a new boss, actually, someone who is brought in. They might be somebody who is younger than you even. But what I'm seeing is that this is setting you up for long term. You are going to start feeling like you've got some roots down in this corporation or whatever this job situation is, and you're building for long term. So this also ties back to those financial choices that you're making in terms of 401k or in your IRAs or whatever. You're making long-term decisions, Scorp, which is great. Your finances are looking good. Now, we talked about that love. We talked about that love for quite some time. And we talked about this commitment with someone who was kind of doing things on their own. There was some confusion underlying about what happened to this, okay? So again, this love, this affair, all of this is in the past. If you're in a current relationship, the love has already been there. So you've already had this love. There might have been some changes that needed to occur. Maybe some secrets came out because of it, and that's affected your home life, created more of a burden. If it's that, we were talking about, you had a love affair with somebody, it was all seemed to be lined up, and then it just ended all of a sudden, you do have choices. And we talked about some of those choices. You have a choice to move to your higher self and operate from that place, or to allow yourself to have some physical fun. Just be careful if you're doing so, just double up. How about that? Just double up. But what I'm seeing is that there's some shutdown, okay? So right now your heart is kind of shut down. There's been a lot of change for you, Scorpio, and you're facing this tough road, and it feels lonely, but just know you do have choices, and your choices are in your community. They're right around you. And what's interesting is that it could be you could have a couple of friends who are around you who are kind of looking at you as if they might want to date you. The other thing is that there could be some interesting ideas about, maybe taboo subjects, different types of sexual experiences that you might have been interested in exploring, and that maybe in relationship you weren't able to. Or perhaps if you are in relationship, you guys might be having this conversation. And again, If it involves multiple partners, if you're in a relationship and you're looking at opening up the relationship, just be safe. Do your due diligence. Have interviews. Be really, really clear about what your expectations are and what any other person's expectations are as well. But this is something, we'll go back to the heart space, and that it's just a little closed, but know that you have the choices. And when you see on the other side of this is the Mountain card, when you get to the other side of this this long-term challenge, this challenge that's kind of, like a brick wall, you're going to be blessed. It's going to soften you. Okay. So right now you're at the edge of things and there's some softening coming. Okay. And again, we're moving through the month. If this doesn't feel like you right now, leave it. If you're not really interested in, other types of sexual activity, like I discussed, leave it. You're Scorpio, so if anybody would be, it would be you. Just saying. So, but just know that your heart will soften towards the end of the month. It's just right now you got to get through this. And it's tough. It is tough, especially if you were burned, and burning a Scorpio is like the worst thing anybody can do. It's a forgive and forget. Let's try to forgive and forget, but you may never forget. And this person may come back. If they did burn you, they may come back and say, I'm sorry, I'm an idiot, I was wrong, I did all the things, whatever. That's later on. Maybe that'll come out next month. We'll see. So that's what I have for you, Scorpio. Woo, that was a doozy. Please forgive me if you felt like I was yelling at you, because I wasn't. I love you. I love you deeply. But I am wishing you the best in April. Do let me know how this resonates for you in the comments section. If you like it, hit that thumbs up button. If you want to have a personal reading, we can start here and then we can go deeper, because there's a lot of depth here. But I gave you a really good start for sure. For now, I'll send you all my love. See you guys next time.